Hey, good morning, everybody. So, yeah, what are we going to do today? We're going to talk about the SPY and the SPY ranges. Why? Because as you're looking at the SPY, it could easily, having a bull case scenario, accelerate. And I'm going to talk about the SPY ranges shortly. But don't get me wrong, we only had a good Thursday afternoon and a good Friday, a solid Friday where we kept going up. It doesn't mean we can't retrace and test 400 on the SPY. So, I'm going to give you my bull case scenario, my bear case scenario. But first, what am I looking at this morning? US dollar. US dollar is dropping. I was looking at the US dollar as we opened up this morning, and it's been slowly increasing, telling me rates are going up. However, it should put downward pressure on the market. And then all of a sudden, the US dollar dropped literally in the past 15 minutes, all of its gains from this morning. So, the specific stories I'm going to talk about, which will influence the market. First, I gave you the bull case scenario. Bull case scenario is we closed right above the supply zones on the SPY. So if we hold those supply zones, there's no doubt the market could rip higher. I mean, rip higher like we could see, 3 or 4 days going up. However, that's your bull case scenario. Bear case scenario is, again, we're going to go down and test that 400 level and find support. I'm going to talk about the dark pool levels shortly. Stocks that I'm looking at, Meta. We all know that Meta had severe strength yesterday. It came out with a price target today of 200. Meta is still trading around, 184, something to that extent. So Meta has the chance to go higher. NVIDIA, I'm looking to see if it breaks out of 240. So it's sitting at 238 pre-market. So NVIDIA on the upside, if it breaks 240, it can go higher. Again, bull case scenario because we have cleared the shelf life on the SPY. And then coin. I hear so many people talking about coin. Again, it has a rising wedge forming. So coin could easily have a breakout. And we know coin likes to move, 14%, 12% higher, things like that. If you're looking for cheaper options, then coin, you might want to look at maybe an Affirm or an Upstart. They all tend to move together. I would stay away from Mara and Roku. I'm not Mara and Roku, Mara and Riot right now. Why? Because they were late with their earnings. They had to reforecast their earnings. Both their revenue and expenses were done the wrong way. Okay, next, here's what I noticed on the SPY. Okay. $1.8 billion traded in the dark pool at 404.14. So that's telling me that area, 404.14, basically where we closed out on Friday, could either be support or it could easily turn into rejection. Again, if we're going to revisit the $400 level, then the 414 was the high side. And then 397, 1.8 billion was traded at the 397.73. So again, if we do have a tough few days in the market, those are some key numbers I'm going to be looking at. If we are bearish in the market, 2 out of the first 3 days, I want to see if we find support right at the 397 level. If we do not, then again, we could drop lower, but we have to make our way down there. Why do I think that? Because I'm looking at Friday's puts on the SPY, and what happened? We saw a $39 million spike at the end of the day. We saw 3 subsequently spikes as the market was trending higher. So understand there are people and institutions and big money that are getting puts. Does it mean they're going to be correct? Does it mean they're going to be correct? Look at me on Friday. Oh, let's talk about my strategy on Friday, right? I was in some Meta calls. I was in some Rivian calls. I was in some DraftKings calls. I secured profit 40%, 80%, 90%. Where could I have been? Again, when I talk about the SPY ranges, I said the SPY could go up to 402.50 on Friday before it potentially rejects. At $400.50, I exited out of my calls. Big freaking mistake because I left so much money on the table. If I'm looking for a rejection, I've got to let it get up to rejection. But I was so happy that I turned green. I was up like 98% as the market opened on Friday. I'm like, okay, let me sell. Let me take profit. I'll be a profitable Friday. But what it would have been smarter is if I let it run probably for even just 20 or 30 more minutes, I would have cleared an extra probably 100% on my accounts. So again, it's good to be right, but it's better to follow a strategy and execute. So again, we'll talk about the levels of the SPY. I'll bring them up on Discord. Let me just see if I have any other. Okay, very quickly. 0 days till expiration options that are expiring today are very heavily call weighted. So it's not going to be a surprise if we see a spike on open and then we potentially dip. So I'm not saying today is going to be green. In fact, I happen to think if I had to put a number on it, I'd say 70-30. I think we're going to go up to like 405. Once we reject, I think we're going back down to 400. Why? The weekly options, the ones that expire on Friday, are more heavily weighted to the put side, and the monthly, the ones that expire the third week, are severely heavily weighted to the put side. So again, I think there's downside potential. Yes, some of it could be hedging. Again, I mentioned ARK-K, shorter date open put activity 40 minutes prior to close. They were buying the put sweeps. They spent probably a little over $1 million, 5 different positions. That's pretty substantial. That could tell me downward pressure on the Q. Something I brought up to Discord is in 2022, the average 401k balance in the US lost 23% of its value. What's even more worrisome is the average 401k balance is now just over 103,000, which is how people are going to retire. Once you get your Social Security, you're using 401k. Guess what? 67% of retired Americans have unpaid credit card debt, and 48% of retired Americans will outlive their savings. So that's telling me our country will be in trouble. It's great that the rich are getting richer, but those that are struggling in this environment, things are likely to get worse. And understand that's a majority of our country. Yes, 90% of the wealth is held by 10% of the people, meaning that 10% of the wealth is held by 90% of the people. I am here to help you change your statue when it comes to your financial freedom and your financial wealth, because we're talking about how to invest. Now, I heard Romeo did a video over the weekend that we dropped probably, or maybe it was last weekend, dropped on Friday. Understand, there are lots of Discord platforms that just give out alerts. Some are good, some are bad. They're charging you a fortune. We're teaching you how to trade. I'm here to help you understand having a complete strategy. Having a complete strategy means know your entry point, know what your expectations are, and know when you're going to exit and why. If you're just hopping into options, then you're living dangerously. You're like, oh, the market's going up today. The market's going up today after what happened on Friday. Yes, you could be right a few days, but overall, those people that don't understand properly how to change, trade, how to look for rejection, how to look for support, how to use technical analysis, they're going to struggle in this market. Okay, so so here's the point. New data shows there's $1 trillion. This is the nominal value, not 1 trillion option contracts, but $1 trillion traded in 0 days till expiration options traded per day. $1 trillion traded per day, which are extremely risky. We all know that. And the entire NASDAQ sees $200 billion in daily volume. So understand, there's much more trading of options than there are trading of the stocks that make up these indices, the Qs, the SPY, the SPX. Now we're seeing 5 times daily volume in 0 days to expiration options. So the stock market has relatively been a casino, or what we're seeing is direct manipulation. The institutions finally figured out, okay, we added more 0-day options because now you can play the SPX, the SPY, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. That never used to be. It used to be Monday, Wednesday, Friday, which is safer for the average trader. But institutions want to take advantage of the choppiness in the market. So again, those were added. What do we have this week? Factory orders came in today, ADP and farm roll jobs on Wednesday, jobless openings on Wednesday, jobless claims on Thursday, non-farm payroll on Friday, unemployment Friday, average hourly earnings also on Friday. So there's a lot of economic data this week. I read somewhere over the weekend under FX hedges that China seeks a peaceful reunification with Taiwan in a key report. That seems a little crazy because, again, Taiwan won't say, yeah, come and govern us again. No, they're an independent state. We support and recognize their independent state. Train derailment, we saw that one, and that's basically it. So let's get into it. Again, my link is not working this morning, so we will be talking about the SPY really quick. I'll pull up the ranges again, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to Discord right now. I'm going to go in the flows and algos room, and then I'm going to look up right here dark pool levels of the SPY. So when I tell you about rejection and support levels, where the hell am I getting it from? I'm getting it from analytical data supplied by Trading Ticks. So again, I'm just going to open this up nice and big, and I'm going to tell you, okay, bullish case scenario. Remember, we closed at 404.19. We're up pre-market. The next level higher, which is like relatively ghost on, there's only $5.4 billion worth of the SPY that'll be traded at 405.69. So let's give the bull case scenario. 405.69, we surpass that. We continue with a bullish, at least Monday to start the week. The next level higher with about $17 billion worth of SPY would be 408.13. So my key focus If we're having a bull day, I'm going to look for rejection at 408.17. Remember, I say plus or minus 20 cents. So some of you could say 408 would be rejection, 408.40. Understand, if we're at 408.40, we're a whole 1% higher in the market today. So the market could definitely start out and be strong till about the 408 level. Now, if we break the 408 level, you're seeing 410 and then 413. So there's a chance if we start out bull case, bull case, bull case, we're not going to reject the market till about 413.50 plus or minus 50 cents. You could be at 414. Okay, that's your bull case scenario for starting out the week, going maybe 2 or 3 days. Remember, SPYs puts outnumber calls in a weekly basis, so coming due on Friday. So again, tells me that we're going to see choppiness in the market. If we shoot up Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we could shoot down Thursday and Friday and be where we started today at 404. That's kind of what I'm looking for, your bull case scenario. Again, 404 up to 413, back down to 404. And that's your whole week in a nutshell. Bear case scenarios, well, I've got to look at the daily on the bear case scenario, and I say, okay, we had a Fed speaker on Thursday that came out and said that rate hikes might be over by summer, by the end of summer, which makes people think we might see rate cuts in the fourth quarter. Now, we had another Fed chair come out after the market closed. How appropriate. They came out like 15 minutes after the market closed, and they supported a 50 basis point hike. Remember, the market only has a 25 basis point hike in for the March rate hike. With that said, if it's 50 basis points, the market will throw up on itself. Okay, so let's see what we got going on today with some questions, comments. Yeah, hit that like button. What did you do, David? You took a gamble on Friday. You bought $5, $7, $3.10 puts for $25 on Boyle. Oh my goodness. Okay, so let's talk about Boyle. Boyle is a natural gas ETF. Remember, I got in at 481. It shot up to what, $7.98 or even $8 before it is off pre-market, I believe, 21% this morning. So congratulations, David. You will be in the money. Now, what do I think about Boyle? If Boyle is having an outflow day today, and you see this, so I would be holding on to my Boyle puts until at least 10:30 this morning, okay? Now, if Boyle's having an outflow day, I would say to myself at 10:30, it's going to get worse at some point during the day, which would make my puts worth more money. That's the strategy right there. Same thing I could have done with my Meta calls on Friday. I could have said, okay, wait till 10:30. Would have been so much smarter to wait till 10:30 because I exited Meta for $6 a contract. There were the 172.50 calls, $6 a contract, meaning Meta's price was 178.50. Meta went up to like 185. So understand, I left over 100% of my contract's value on the table, not to mention profit. Profit would have been 450% on those. Remember, I secured 100%. So I felt great about it, but then I felt terrible all Friday afternoon. Okay, Nat, thoughts on trading futures? Do you or don't you, and why? No, I don't really trade futures. Oops, I went on to the next question already. I don't really trade futures because for me, there's no real need. I like the market to see give me direction, meaning I'm more of a pattern guy. I like to see patterns and I like to say, okay, the pattern will likely play out in this direction. As far as futures go, I'm basically risking on a lot of outside data that can influence the market pretty big money. So no, I stay away from futures. I've heard people talk about VIX calls and UVX. Why? But I would rather be trading the SPY and SPX. I would rather go out a few days. If I think the market is going to pull back, which I do think it's going to pull back, I might start entering SPX puts way in the money, okay? And then I might go out probably like six weeks, something like that, just to be safe. Again, that would be a longer term, bigger portfolio position. Let's see, what's the DP data on Boyle? Dark pool data on Boyle. Again, I don't have Discord linked up. I'm on a new place right now. I'll have it linked up tomorrow, so we can definitely go in that. But anybody that is a member can go online right now and you just type in TR-DP levels and Boyle and check that out because you could find support. Again, for your position, David, what I would do is I would definitely be holding my contracts. I would not trade them until at least 10:15 or 10:30 a.m. At that time, I would look to see if there was inflow or outflow on Boyle today. Meaning, are they buying the dip or are they letting it drop further? If it's outflow day, then I would say to myself, even if 10:30 and things are still bad, it's down 22%, I would say, wow, things could get worse. It could drop 26, 27%. If it's an inflow day and the stock is only, and the ETF's only down, let's say 20% at 10:30, and I would say it's an inflow day, okay, well, then that tells me inflow, they're buying the dip. I want to get out. secure profit. What do we see? Thoughts on playing VIX calls? So yeah, back to that again with the VIX. I would rather play SPY, SPX. However, we've been talking about the VIX finding support right around the $20 level. So let's just see where the VIX is right now. I mentioned Meta, and my phone wants to show me Meta. So everybody that has AI programmed to their phones are taking over. I mean, I say anything when I'm talking to my ex or my kids, and then I go and look at my phone, and it's showing me advertisements for different things. Okay, so I just want to look again pre-market. Yeah, the SPY is ripping. Again, we're at 405.46. I would look to see if it rejects the dark pool level of what was it, 405. Let me just get back to that, 405.69. So we're right around that level. Again, if we break through the next larger level where I will definitely get involved with puts, if we see it today, would be 408.13. So 408.13 plus or minus 20 cents means 408 or 408.50. Again, since I'm going to be on the sidelines until at least 10:30 a.m., I'm probably going to say to myself, okay, let me see how the market plays out. If we spike and we see some rejections, then I'll get into puts. I expect to get into puts right around 408.13 plus or minus 20 cents. If we gradually grind higher like we did on Friday, then I would say, okay, the market can still be strong. Let's wait to buy the dip. If we see a nice dip, then I'll get on that one. Yeah, so let's talk about AI, which is CAI. The symbol is AI. Let's remember, they came out with earnings. They surpassed expectations. The stock shot up like 30% on Friday, maybe even 33%. When it was trading at 22 and change pre-market, I said I was looking for a top side, maybe to reject about $28. What happened? I think it actually went to $28 and like 40 cents. If it didn't get there, it's there pre-market, but let's just see. Yeah, no, 28.94 was the high on AI. The low was 24.03. So again, at open or within 5 or 10 minutes, AI was at $24. Again, pre-market on Friday, when I mentioned earnings, I mentioned I expected it to shoot up to $28. Now, it wasn't at $28 the whole day. It went up. Well, it dropped out of open, actually. Just opened at 29, dropped quickly. Or no, that's after hours. Okay, forget after hours. Who the hell cares? Hey, man, you're grateful for me every day. So if you're happy that I'm here, please thumbs up, give a like, make a comment. With that said, we'll go over SPY ranges again one last time, because where is the SPY pre-market? It is sitting at what, 405.50. So the next rejection level on the SPY could be 405.63. So again, if we bounce up at open, we're likely, bear case scenario, to drop. And I think we'll see maybe support at, let's just go over the dark pool levels again. Small level at 403.25. The next largest level is $400.81. So yeah, I mean, bear case scenarios, we're hitting that $400.81, maybe $400.50, finding support. So again, that's your bear case scenario, but we don't have a reason to be bear yet, because the market, again, Thursday afternoon shot up, Friday afternoon faded up the whole entire day. There was no chop. So I'm assuming we see some chop today. I'm assuming that if we see some chop today, once we find the top, which could be 405.69, that will likely find the bottom around $400.81. So again, I guess that makes me a bear today. Yeah, so let's go with that. I'm going to be bearish today, even after Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday's play out. Now, let's remember, on Wednesday, after we saw 3 straight down days in the market, I came on and I was like, I actually think Thursday we're going to bounce higher. And again, it took till the Fed's comments Thursday afternoon around 2 p.m. for me to be correct and for Friday to even be stronger. Now, I don't care why it happens, but I made a prediction. I was correct about that. So again, my prediction for today is we're going to see 405.83. So let's even say 406 on the high side. On the low side, just under 401, which would be $400.81. So again, I expect some choppiness today. Again, out of the gate, we're likely to ride higher just based on Thursday afternoon and Friday's trading all day. But again, institutions, big money, we're buying $39 million of puts on close 2 hours prior, another $39 million. They did it 4 times during the day. Those were the largest block trades I found. I found similar trades on the SPX as well. With that said, I'm heading over Discord. Please join me there if you guys have any questions. And we'll meet again tomorrow morning, 8:30. Please join me. Romeo